Okay. We should be live.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Let me see.
Hello, peeps in chat. I've got the pop-out chat so I can see you all. Hopefully you can see the video playing in the background. Right, what we're going to do today is just talk a little bit about the halos. There's a lot of people been asking what they are, so they're obviously needing some more information from us. And we do still want people making videos on bringing our attention to them because they're very special. You know, keep recording them, guys. You can see the ones here that we've been sent. Some are off One Conscience, 300 Cool Picks, and a few other people. You all get mentioned underneath, you know. You all get the credits for it. But yeah, keep them coming. Go on,
I'm just going to say hey to everybody. Tommy, Lev, Daniel, Sandra, Melanie. I just wanted to say hey. Thanks a lot for coming. So go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt. That's
okay. Well, yeah, thanks for coming, guys. We know you like these. They're very special. And keep recording them because they are very special. If you haven't been following our research too closely, what they are is part of the projector system that projects the luminary we call the sun. We're going to prove that, and if you watch our 12 gates video, you'll get a bit more technical breakdown and a lot of explanations of what the research is involved into coming to these conclusions. And we are going to go deeper in the video we're making now called Wonderland. So if you're not sure about them, definitely watch our 12 gates video. Can you drop the link to that in the chat one in case anyone hasn't seen it?
Which one is it?
The 12 gates.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, better get that in there. So yeah, they want to watch the technical breakdown side of it. That's the way you need to be looking.
Yep. I'm grabbing it.
Tommy, Dan, Mel, Sandra. Who else is here? Big Nick's is in and out there somewhere.
Tommy, Jamie Brown.
Lev. Usual suspects.
Always. But that's good.
Yeah.
I like them. Good peeps.
Yeah, we're getting to the point now, guys, where we can name all the individual parts of these. So you'll get the ancient terminology for these and the modern terminology. That's how confident we are with this research. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled on them skies. Now, there is different types of halo you can actually record. These ones here are normally called what the mainstream call them a 22-degree Sundog halo. There's also a 46-degree one, which I haven't seen personally. I would love to see someone capture that one. You see a bit more with that, and to me it looks like there's other luminaries involved in what's creating what you're seeing. I didn't have time to add the 46-degree one to this, and I didn't have permission to use the clip anyway, so I thought I'd better not. But if you search for 46-degree halo on YouTube, you will see what I mean, and some amazing imagery of them. And it does look like the sun with Venus or something above it. So it's probably a sunset and Venus is in the vicinity, or one of the luminaries anyway. Something is definitely above it that looks like another luminary. And with our research, it's kind of proving Ptolemy's work correct, which does describe the Copernican globe system, because Ptolemy factored in the motions of what we called epicycles. We'll go into that a bit deeper in the Wonderland video, but basically he's taken into account not just the sun, but the projector that's moving the sun. It's relating to the movements of the projector. That's basically what you're really looking at. This is a projection, and part of the projector is showing that shouldn't be. Hopefully you're understanding this information. If not, doesn't matter, you know, you can go to the 12 gates or the Wonderland video and release that for more technical breakdowns of what we're looking at.
Or feel free to ask questions. Yeah, we're always around for questions to answer this stuff.
Yeah, definitely ask questions. So if you've got any questions, guys, put them in the chat now, because we've got the chat up so we can see it.
Yeah. Also, when you go to find these things, Now, when I've had the most success catching the halos, which I catch a lot of them, I do drive around a lot for my job. So I'm always outside and knowing what I know, I'm always looking at the sky. So, first of all, you got to look at the sky. Second of all, what I've found is when they chemtrail and the clouds get really thin and wispy and they cross over the sun and the sun area, it illuminates these halos. Um, I've caught many of them doing that, and I think China, she's got the same thing going on. I always see her very thin, wispy clouds stretched across the area. You know, thick cloud coverage is going to cover it all up, but when you get those thin ones, the halos will pop through. You'll see the line, you'll see the sun, you'll see the nodes.
But we do
So,
what you used to do, guys. If possible, try and do a time lapse of them as well, because you will actually catch it moving if you use time lapse. You'll see the whole halo rotating with the sun. So if you can catch that, that would be awesome. We haven't got many of those. But yeah, time lapse. If you see one, try and time lapse it, and yeah, you'll actually detect the motion of the whole thing, which is what
yeah,
we're going to prove anyway. You know, because we can see it's doing that. We know what it's doing. We know what it is, and we know what it isn't.
yeah,
But yeah, time lapse. But yeah, one's right. You know, if they're chemtrailing, they're trying to hide this. You know, if you look at China's view on the bottom right there, you can see all the chemtrails, but you can still see the halo showing through it. You know, they're hoping. It seems they're hoping to hide them. Now, there's a few reasons why they might be showing. You know, one's obviously temperature. We think really cold temperature plays a part in revealing these. And certain chemtrails that they spray in the heavens, like barium. Barium illuminates a geomagnetic field line from pole to pole. So basically what you're looking at is electromagnetics. Barium's been used to basically map the sky. So, you know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. We need to take the opportunity and map it ourselves as well. This is
hmm
what they're doing, and this is what we need to do.
yep, and we can from ground. If every person, you know, pays attention when they are chemtrailing, especially I've managed to find a lot of them closer to dusk hour. You know, I don't know what it is about the dusk hour in my area, but when we get closer to the evening time, they really seem to illuminate when the chemtrails are being put out. So I'm not real sure why that is, but I just want everyone to understand how you find these things because a lot of people don't see them.
Yeah,
There's
keep your eye on the
times,
sun, guys.
yeah, there's times when you can see them, and like I said, it's when the chemtrails are very thin and wispy. If you look at all these pictures, there's a very light layer of chemtrails, and that's when, for sure, you'll always, you know, see the sun, but the nodes. When you see the nodes, then you can capture the ring. At least for me, it's I don't always see the ring. I see the nodes more than anything.
There's also two different things to check in the heavens, guys. You've got stationary halos, which is going to be like what you're seeing there with the sun's on, a complete circle of halos with nodal points on, but no luminary. Now, these stationary ones, the best example we can show you of that is the one captured by Crow 777. He calls it the lunar wave. Now, what it is basically a stationary halo in the heavens, and the moon passing by in the background's illuminated. It's kind of showed it going across the face of the moon. So keep your eye out for that one as well. It's another nice capture. That's the only one I've seen. I've seen one or two, I think. One by the first one was by Crow, and then one by another guy. And I would say there's probably other people capturing them by now. We've also seen the same off Jupiter and one of the other major luminaries. I can't remember which one it was, but they're on my channel. If you check my channel, you will see where I've shown the two passing by. It's basically a circle, you know, so you get one side of it shown, then the other as it moves across the luminary. And you'll see some nice examples on a CGI animation I made to show you basically what's going on, you know, a stationary hill in the sky. And these are the ones we related to the ones called seraphims from scripture. You look at some of our scriptural decodings, you'll see how we relate them to the seraphims, or the fiery ones as they were known. Now, the fiery ones, obviously that's going to be relating to radioactive materials and lava, which again, you're going to have to watch the 12 Gates video for a better breakdown of what we're looking at.
Tommy said, twice this summer just past, I watched chemtrailer planes vanish into thin air. Then he asked, is there a possible layer they can come and go from?
I've seen a few videos like that, and it's just a trick of light, really. If the light's not reflecting off any parts of the aircraft, it's going to appear to vanish. It's just when light's catching it, you really notice it. So I have seen a few videos like that, but I've never commented on them. Obviously, thin cloud might help obscure them, but yeah, I think it's a trick of the light and the angle of the aircraft to your perspective. It seems to just look like it's vanished. I think it's because there's no reflective surfaces being shown to your direction. That's what the problem is.
What I've noticed the last couple days, see, for like 4 days, we haven't had any chemtrails, but I've seen lots of planes. I'm wondering if they haven't figured out how to put the stuff out without it showing as much. I don't know that for sure. It's just a thought. But like last night, I saw like 5 planes all going in different directions coming up, and it just looked weird. There shouldn't have been that many dang planes. I mean, especially that
there's always a fleet of them, notice, because when they're coming over where I live, you see 3 or 4 of them I was going to say side by side, but not close to each other. But they are flying a formation side by side, probably a mile or so apart. So you maybe not seen all the ones that's doing it.
Mine, they were following each other. So I had 2, one up higher and one down lower, and it was following that one. And then I had 2 more coming from the side, and they seemed to be following each other. And then there was the 5th one that was just kind of off on its own, which, maybe that was a real plane, not a chemtrail plane, but none of them were leaving the lines. I haven't seen any of the thick, heavy trails for like 4 days now. I actually had blue skies, which is weird.
Well, I would say they can predict what time these are going to be revealed, and that's what, they're doing it by timed events, I would say. If the sun's in a certain location, it seems to show more than it does in other locations. So it suggests there's something going on in the underworld, doesn't it? What they're trying to cover up in the sky. As above, so below, guys. That's what you're looking at.
And that's why
the heavens is happening below.
Yep, and that's probably why they do a lot of chemtrailing in the evenings here at my area. Every area is going to be a little different based on whatever's going on in that area, but in the middle of America, I really capture a lot of them in the evenings going into dusk. And they chemtrail a lot then. They like to blow us up in the evenings. Not to say they don't do it in the daytime, but they really do like to start it in the evenings a lot around here, which, whether they're trying to cover it or map it or both, I don't know. But they're definitely making it easy for me to see them.
Yeah, but only because you're looking up. You know what's there.
Yeah.
You've got to look up and catch it. I don't think they can hide it. Even the chemtrails don't hide it very well. Unless, they've completely blanketed the sky with them, which takes a bit of doing. It's a big sky. So they have to use, they're using winds as well. They'll do it downwind so it blows towards it, kind of thing.
Tommy said the only time I get a cloudy sky is the only days these bloody planes are around. Yeah, once in a while I get real fluffy clouds, but most of the time it's these thin, wispy chemtrail clouds. And Mel said they spray at night in Mississippi. See, they do here too, and you're just not too far from me. You're more south of me, but I think we would be getting similar sightings in our skies, Mel. I mean, you're not too far off. Same with Miss China. I see the same skies she shows on her videos, but mine seem to be further away and south. Well, that makes sense because she's south of me. So these things are pretty big, What did you guys say? 6 miles around? Isn't that what Jimbo said?
Yeah, we
about six
estimate the
miles.
halo to be about 6 miles in diameter, but that might change. Depends on the altitude of it, because it is gaining and decreasing altitude depending where in the world you are. Remember our tour video where we had to go up the sides across the zenith at the top and then down the other side again. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's elevation and playing a part in there. So it depends where you are. Obviously sunset is going to start looking lower on the horizon. It's not just going into the distance; it is actually losing altitude as well, going towards the west gates.
See, when I see them, they're usually the sun's getting lower. It's descending, so
Yeah, Globers would argue that's their perspective. Even though they deny perspective, they would argue it's perspective. But yeah, we do think it is losing altitude as it comes down towards the far west.
yeah. Yep.
But yeah,
So
keep
yeah,
them videos coming in, guys. We want to see more of these.
yep.
We're not too worried about mapping them or the location. Obviously, the sun's got one that moves with it. Yeah, but if you do find others, it might reveal other stationary ones that are passing by. They're the rarer ones that are hard to find.
The stationary ones are referred to as seraphim in scriptures.
One's done a few overlays that will surprise you with as well in the Wonderland video that we're making. That'll be out soon as well.
Yeah, the next video, Wonderland, should be pretty eye-opening for the people that maybe don't understand, and probably just downright amazing for the ones that do.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's a given, isn't it? It's the
Yeah,
obvious.
this is a technical system,
Very high tech.
and not saying that entities aren't involved, and I'm not saying they are, but these are definitely projections, and the ones I see are in the same areas every day. I'm always capturing them in the same direction, in the same general area.
Mel's asking, could they have darkened the sun and put up a simulator? Is it possible a dark sun receives the real sun? It's always going to be the real sun projector. Now, what it's projecting should be the sun particles, but if man's messing around with this technology, then that can change. That would be the worry. If they're playing around with the sun projector, then yeah, I would expect to see changes in the heavens. But a simulator, no, you don't need a simulator when you've got the original technology at your fingertips, because they have. And you
And if
think
we
about
think,
where all your taxpayers' money's going, it's not going on space projects, guys. It's going on reverse engineering, creator glory projects. That's the reality of what we're looking at. This is the seriousness of it.
yeah, and if we think in terms of alchemy, if they've gotten down and able to fiddle with these technologies, and they learn how to add, elements or whatever to them, it would change the heat of our sun, the appearance. You know, it's alchemic.
Yeah, definitely alchemy playing a part. As you've seen with the hieroglyph decoded, you can see various mixtures of things in those decodings. Now, I couldn't decode them. I could just recognize straight away what the Eye of Horus was, and that's how it was easy to decode. Just by looking at it, I knew what it was, what it represented. And when I looked at some of the imagery with the birds, obviously being high frequency, the hot coals, there's waveforms there. It's showing you it's alchemic electrical process going on. Very, very high tech stuff. And historically and geopetrol and hieroglyph research is shown. We all knew this. Everyone depicted these images everywhere. They knew what it was, accepted it, and worked along with it. And it does seem up to about the Egyptian times, man had seemed to harness it pretty well. So when you think about it, all man's done really is reverse engineer what they found and make derivatives of it. And that's where we're at today with our technology. You've got all our technology today to thank for coming from the underworld, in my opinion. Do you say one?
I was just reading Tommy's comment. He said Germany and many others have had patents on sun simulators since the 50s, though.
Yeah, well, guess where they're going to be using them? Somewhere where the sun ain't shining, for want of better wording. But yeah, they're obviously using them down at Antarctica in the south of South Antarctica. Remember, we're looking at our realms, something on something much larger, going by the grid and map we're using. So, if the sun's not going in those locations, they're going to need artificial lighting. So that's where I would say they would be using a sun simulator
How
on
old
the
is Egypt, though?
outskirts of the realm.
You
Oof,
said
no
how old
idea,
is
Tommy.
Egypt?
How old
I don't
is
know
anything?
either.
All the timelines,
They have
all the timelines are different. Doesn't matter which religion you look at, everyone's got a different time, so none of them are the same.
yeah, and
The oldest is the Jewish one, is it not?
yeah, I think so. Ain't that around 8,000?
I think it
Did
was
you say
6,000. I think it was
6,000?
6, 6, 7, 7, somewhere around there.
If I
But
had to guess,
so we know that's right.
right, if I had to guess, I would like to think it's right around there. 6,000 some hundred years, basing it on us passing through zodiac signs. That's what I'm basing it on. They carbon date things and they really mess it up. I've said this before and I'll keep saying it. Water and things being submerged would make things look older, would make them appear older. Things that are preserved without a lot of air or water or elemental interference would appear younger. So carbon dating, you can't go by that. But when you look at zodiac signs, and how we pass through them and what is here on Earth to show us we've been through them, we have a ram, a bull, and a fish. So if it's true that those are 2,000 years each, well, we've went through 6,000 years there, and now we've entered Aquarius. I don't think that we just entered Aquarius. I think we entered Aquarius in 2012, when the Mayan calendar said we were entering a new age. That's how I think about it. Not saying that it's accurate whatsoever, but common sense wise, that's what it kind of tells me, is we're a little over 6,000 years old.
Yeah. Well, we'd be guessing.
I am guessing.
Yeah, same with me. Same with me. I'd be guessing as well. Yeah, 6, 7,000 years old. Who knows? The pyramids themselves, I think they're part of the construct, part of the build, as are many of the other ancient temples, and they were built locally for people to come and learn and research. I think a lot of these sites we've been looking at, they do look like university sites, like the ones in Italy that do you want to go through the Italy ones once? Have a quick talk through them, let them know what you've seen and
yeah, we looked
up conclusions.
We looked up different temples of the luminaries. Okay, so we looked up the temple of Jupiter and Mars, and each planet has its own temple, And when we zoomed in and looked at them, and they were all right there in a bunch, they're always in a bunch together. They looked like college campuses, broken down, destroyed college campuses, probably where people went to learn how these luminaries in our world worked. Tommy asked, what if they've had computer tech all along? I think they have. I don't think we were primitive at all like that.
Yeah.
Use our little saber-toothed tiger teeth to dig holes. I don't think so.
Well, look at the anti-Kepiran mechanism. That right there. There's some amazing piece of technology. It's a hand crank computer that can tell you where you are anywhere in the world, and not only that, can predict past, current, and future eclipses. That would be kind of impossible on a globe model, wouldn't it? It's ridiculous. So yeah, they were advanced a lot more than they tell us. Definitely, they just depicted it differently in different languages. So it does make it harder to pull it out of the information you're looking at. But you can pretty much guarantee everything the mainstream has been telling you is just total bullshit.
Yeah,
it really is. Geology, geopetron hieroglyphs. We've looked through everything, and everything they're saying it is turning out not to be. Lava, volcanoes. There's a lot more going on. It's a big techno-mechanical process going on down there. That's what our research is revealing. It can't work any other way.
Even if they hadn't, straight up stolen the technology like nowadays, they knew how it worked, and they knew how to get the energy from the earth, and they knew alchemy. So they knew a lot of things that we just aren't taught anymore. They knew exactly how this stuff worked. This is what they were taught. There wasn't any mainstream mumbo jumbo lying to everyone. You know, um, things were probably just a lot different back then because everyone knew there was a creator. Everyone knew that this stuff was below. Everyone mapped it. All the different religions and countries and stuff, they all have different depictions of this in their own language, which would be after the languages were separated, as stated in scriptures. So even if they didn't have like computers and stuff like that, they had their own technology, which is the world technology. They took it over, they stole it, they called it their own, they invented different little pieces for us to have of it, and they called it their own, and they've waged war on the world and all the countries where this stuff lies, and they've just taken it, killed anyone who didn't want to conform or go along with this takeover of the creation.
Elaborating more on the takeover one, we do think it was probably when this large flood took place. There'd be a bit of a vacuum there, power vacuum, and I would say that's probably when they went for it, because it's strange. Everyone seems to have stopped depicting all this at the same time. It had to be something very catastrophic for it to stop. And of course, wars and invading armies and things, that's going to put you off. The Spanish army basically burnt a lot of the main scriptures. That's, this is what was going on. They were going around the world, tearing it to pieces and handing out Bibles and say, you will now believe this.
Exactly.
And it's never stopped, has it? They're still handing the bullshit out, saying, I'm not saying the Bible's bullshit. I'm saying they've made it read differently to what it originally did. And there's so many books missing from the Bible. There's just not much of it left to decode. But you can still get the same decodings from that as you can from the Book of Enoch, geopetro-hieroglyphs, the Nazca lines, real world data. It's all there. It's just hidden the technology and how the technology works. So you can see why they didn't want to canonize the Book of Enoch, and you can see why they removed a lot of Bibles from the Bible, a lot of books from the Bible. It's just too revealing. It has to be.
Let's say hi to Tom in China. Glad you stopped in China.
Hey Tom, hi China. Hey Dan. Yeah, Halos, China. So just what you needed, some information on Halos. So yeah, be sure to watch this video if you've missed any. And the 12 Gates video if you want to go deeper. And Wonderland if you want to sink like a brick all the way to the bottom.
Brain's too full.
We'll take them down in layers, shall we?
So yeah, the flood, I agree. The flood is definitely when we lost all this. I made kind of a makeup video and put it on my channel, but something like that is probably what happened. The flood occurred, and everyone that did survive probably went into, caves or something like that, or in caves on mountains, or, wherever they could survive. If the elite of the time knew this was going to happen or caused it to happen, they would have also known to put all this information safely somewhere. Even if it took, 100 years for the waters to recede enough. And I'm not saying that's true, I'm just making up a number, but the information would be there for the next generation to come out of hiding and get these places and areas before anyone else could. As other people started to come out of hiding and build their little villages, well, they'd just slaughter them. And that's exactly what happened when we go back and read our histories, especially of Europe. And then it came over to the America. But Europe we hear about a lot. All the kings and queens and stuff that just went from village to village and slaughtered everyone, overtook the land, made the men slaves, skewed and messed up their bloodlines and their DNA. That all happened. You got to wonder why. Why would they do all this? That's just evil. Well, it was to get these areas and take this technology. That's why.
Yeah, and historically, your elders, your tribal chiefs, your kings, queens, royals, etc., all used to take great pride in depicting how this realm works. You can see it in the geopetron hieroglyphs; it's everywhere. But yeah, once they took pride, they took great pride in it, and now it's all hush hush. Oh, you're on a globe now. You're a monkey on a spinning ball. I don't think so.
Tommy said, I have the CN Tower, the world's largest freestanding structure here in Toronto, with its Vesica Pisces at the base and 1,776 steps, right on the waterfront, free electricity and billing to wash clothes. That's freaking awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was just going to comment on that. Obviously, cities and certain buildings are built precisely where they need to be on the grid, because what you're looking at is ley lines. I was talking our back chat earlier with Chris. There is a Roman baths down near Bristol, and it still today heats the water from below. So I was asking Chris to take a shovel down below the Roman baths and have a look at actually what's heating the water, because it's going to be something simple below that they're using to heat water, and it's got to be sitting on top of the ley line. It's simple plug in. So all your cities they're on this grid for a reason in these locations. It's for easy plug in down below. If you want free power and energy, you've got to find the right location to plug in down below. So this is what they take into account before they even consider building a city. That's the kind of scale of the operation you're looking at. Romans knew it, it's never changed. So what it's telling you is, there's free energy, free heating, free everything, as was intended. Whoever created this, we've even debated the creator in our chats. We're not going to say we know who or what the creator is, but this was created and the blueprints laid out in the Nazca. The blueprints laid out in the Nazca lines and everywhere else around the world to show you how it works. So it was a given to humanity. It was given to us to know how it works and manage it and all be part of it, not be excluded from it. And that's basically what's going on. It's been private and everyone else is not included. So there's a small party in charge of running the show, it seems.
I'm going to put the 12 gates again in the chat. It's a real good
video
lots of
to
good
watch. Decodings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should watch that 10 times. you learn something every time as well, probably. There's so much information in that video.
Definitely. And read the Egyptian text for yourself. It's the Egyptian pyramid text, the 12 gates. Or the 12 hours, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, there's another thing we need to stress. This is not a Pac-Man map. It is not a teleporting sun. The sun gets to the west. It sets, it shuts down, it then has to make its way back in the underworld, back to the east, as told in scripture and by the Mayans and everyone else. There is a return path it has to take that go through the 12 gates. These would be the 12 chakras. We've identified them as the 12 chakras. And if they're all healthy, there is a 13th. So we're going to go a bit more deeper into that one in the next video.
Yeah, Wonderland.
Not a 4D map, it's not teleporting, it shuts down and the projector has to make its way back to the east, ready for the next sunrise. So that's what you're really looking at in this model. No fantasy 4D, no looping sun. But actually, it does loop. There is a 24-hour loop in the north where it does a 24-hour sun. We've looked at that, it does work. We've shown how it works with this model. And with the 12 gates, we've shown when it's not in the 24 hours, and how it's making its way back to the east in the underworld. And this is what the Egyptian 12 gates depicted perfectly. It took you on the journey to show you how it works. So that was the level of intelligence and knowledge up to Egyptian times. So everyone was still learning it back in those times. And that's when everything changed, and we were starting getting told lies. But not anymore. We can see it now, can't we? We can see what's going on.
Absolutely. And I think it's awesome that China is taking her time all day to capture this halo traveling across the sky each hour. That's awesome. And if we could get everyone to kind of do that one time, we would have the different locations of these things over each state, or at least the areas. If these things are 6 miles wide and there's 144,000 of these things, we have a lot of information to gather if we want a true map of our skies.
Not all of them's projecting a luminary mind, but yeah, there is a lot doing here. The halo kind of role, the shepherd role, which is what the Egyptian ones depict, basically. The King Tutankhamun, that's the leader of a group of angel technologies that are projecting their solitary halos in the heavens that seem to be used for guidance. Yeah, Will Soren's asking, what do you guys think of a sun on the hollow inner Earth? That's what we were just saying, Will. Yeah, the sun has a return path in the underworld. It's moving around in the underworld. What you're seeing in the sky is the projection from the projector. It's a projector in the underworld, and you're seeing the projection in the heavens.
And mind you, below. That as this happens in the underworld, it might light up down there too. This is a lot of alchemy going on, a lot of processes.
Oh yeah,
and that could explain the sun in the hollow earth. People that have hollow earth beliefs, this is hand in hand. I mean, it really is. If people would watch our videos and understand what we're talking about, these hollow earth believers would understand that this is what's going on. It's not a globe or hollow, but these are layers. These are layers below that are doing different things. The lower the layer is, probably the further away the luminary would appear.
Now, scripturally speaking, what Ezekiel was trying to describe when he mentioned a wheel in a wheel is exactly what you're seeing in the heavens there. That's the projection from this wheel in a wheel. We're going to go deeper into that in Wonderland. But this is what Ezekiel was trying to describe, a particle accelerator, basically. A wheel in a wheel. And you'll get that when you see the next video we put out. You'll understand exactly why he said it.
Yep, but the Egyptian pyramid text, the 12 hours, that goes through the entire process of the sun's return path, during the northern wintertime. In the summer, they get the 24-hour sun up there.
Hey, Jason.
I think so too, Tommy. With the bigger heads, probably had a bigger pineal gland. They had probably a higher conscience that was more.
Well, the human Egyptians connected. Just kind of moved in. Remember, we've inherited all this. Before us was giants and titans. We can't forget them because they exist everywhere. Mainstream's going to hide the giants, but they've definitely had a role, played a part in this. On the scale of this, you're talking giants or titans taking part in constructing this. It's too big a scale for humans. CERN might look big, but CERN's just a baby compared to the originals, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. But they come in all sizes. They would come in all sizes, doing different things.
Yeah, different roles, different frequencies. Yeah.
Different amount of nodes. I mean, not on the sun, but like on the actual.
I think you will notice on the sun one as well, depending what's going on and where it's at, and if it's going through a cleaning cycle or when or where you've captured it might make a difference. I know I've seen the one with less nodes on, so it suggests some weren't powered up for some reason. It might just be part of its process. But usually you see about 8 nodes. If you can get full halos, usually about 8 nodes there, isn't there? Or the sun and 7 around it.
Yeah. So like what you mean is if something was kicked on to say it was cleaning at that time, then something would be lit up differently than if it was just say traveling.
Yeah, I think something like that's going on. Because I've seen a couple of videos where there's not the same amount of nodes, so it suggests part of it's not activated, shut down, or it's not doing something during that stage of that process. So yeah, it's obviously switching things on and off as it's moving around, and obviously it's getting to certain areas where perhaps it'll have to do a dump, a cleaning cycle as it's going through somewhere, or we have to take things into consideration what it's doing down below. So yeah, the only thing I can think of is obviously it's involved in various processes, and it's not all the time we've got all 8 nodes activated.
Yeah.
Depending on what it's doing.
Yeah, and certain areas of the world would be dump sites because there's massive amounts of volcanoes there. And other areas there aren't. Where I live, we don't have any volcanoes.
And the lava tubes, it's the ones that's in use. I think you'll know the ones in use is always going to be warm there. And they do seem to flow back towards the equator and exit out towards the west in most cases, don't they? As you see on the mimic map, guys, this ring of fire doesn't exist. It's really a line of fire, we call it, because it goes east to west right across the equator, and it's lit up. And obviously that's the radioactive volcanic lava that's flowing. I think that's where the heat's coming from. This the lake of fire is probably right below the equator.
Yeah.
And as the Mayans put it nicely, we might as well mention this as well. the stars all the luminaries come out at night to show the humans the map of the underworld. We'll probably do a little talk about that sometime in the future, what it relates to. What you're looking at with the Milky Way, the Milky Way may very well be just a mirror image of what's below the equator. So yeah, as the Mayans say, it's a map of the underworld. That decodes really nice. That. Still to look at it, but yeah, it does make a lot of sense when they put it like that.
Yeah.
Keep them videos coming, guys. We want to see more halos. They're beautiful, aren't they? Lovely sight to see. I don't see many here. I think I've seen 3 in the last 2 or so years. Never seen any before then. And at the time of seeing them, I did not realise it was something to do with flat Earth. This was before I found flat Earth and got into all this, but I've seen them myself before. The drone captured 1, and I've captured 2 with my mobile phone. I'll have to dig them out and make a video.
Yeah.
To say, just a couple of nodes or something like that. I haven't seen the full halo like you guys are getting to see.
That one right there by Miss Will. Is that what it says in the middle? That one is really good. You see both wheels.
Which one?
The one in the middle on screen.
Oh, Miss Willie, yeah. That's someone from Vietnam, yeah. I asked them last year if I could use the clip. He said, yeah, certainly. Yeah, nice clip. I've seen one from China recently as well. That was a nice one. There's a lovely one in Sweden when they're all skiing on a mountain slope, but I think you have to pay for the rights to use that one, so I've never used it.
Tommy said the Great Rift.
Yep, the Great Rift, yeah. There it is in the sky, and it's just a mirror image of what's below, really. It's showing you the underworld. That's what the Whitmains tell us. The map of the underworld.
Wow, lots of stuff going on there.
You have to take it seriously, Take what the men say seriously. They knew what they were talking about. Unlike today's academia. Alaska lines, a couple of guys with sticks. Who were they kidding?
With sticks.
It must have taken like 100 years then to remove a mountaintop with a stick.
And they spent 12 years on one NASA line. Oh, did you, by the way, see Jay Dreamer's video that he put out, his stream?
No, not yet. Today.
I didn't catch the stream. I caught the afterplay of it. But no, I think it was last night. But he called Nevada, or called the Grand Canyon, and was asking a bunch of stuff. And they gave him the runaround. I would say everybody should check that out. They did admit that
right,
clips.
yeah. I did I missed the video. I remember I was seeing the pop-up, but I was busy doing something at the time. Probably making this video you're looking at here. Yeah, I've
Probably.
seen that, but I have seen other people mention what's going on there, and they're getting fobbed off or chased away from there. So it's suggesting there's access to the underworld in that location, isn't it?
Exactly. There has to be. That's what everyone says, and
And I think
they
there's
talk about.
depictions. I'm sure there's depictions in caves there as well that you're probably not allowed to see.
You're not allowed in any of the caves, according to them. I'm gonna put this link so everybody can, if they want, check it out. But I like his work, and I really liked this video. Basically, you're not allowed anywhere except one cave, not even the workers. So how the hell would they know what's going on either?
Remember Brian Forrester's video when he was over in Egypt and there was an area sectioned off they wouldn't let him go to have a look at? Same there. Same's going on there. There's things they don't want you to see until they've destroyed it or buried it, one or the other.
Yep, tell me. He said, yes, great flood, 40 days and 40 nights of rain, 150 days of water flowing from the great deep. Yeah. And there is obviously something below because people have went down and seen underwater lakes and like really weird stuff in the ocean, other layers of water that they can't really get to. Different tales that I've heard, but
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be like that everywhere. It's probably some in UK, they'll bomb the crap out of it or call it a military site to keep you off it. That's the usual scenario, isn't it? Make it a military base and then it's off limits to everyone.
mhm.
Yeah, it may not have been worldwide, Tommy, but
I
I
agree.
think the major nations clearly were affected for them for us to be where we're at now.
Yeah, it probably.
Someone's took control and started telling a lot of lies and forcing that agenda. It's never stopped.
I mean, if I had to take a guess, looking at the topography of our world, I would say that something crazy occurred definitely on the east. There's islands, it's all broke up. You can tell where there is land below the water still. And you get further into Europe and stuff, and all that seems kind of solid for the most part. Africa has some low spots where water's still there on the east side, and then you get over into like the UK area, and I think again it affected that area because those islands are all busted up and broken. You can tell where they probably connected and stuff on like Ireland and over in the Scotland that have similar features tell me that that was probably one area at one time. The Americas, you can see water flows on the west side for sure. The whole west coast has big water flows where you can tell it just ran down land. Just look around and you can tell the areas that were affected. Hawaii, it's just one little island, but there's all kinds of islands and other stuff around there.
Yeah, well, there's another thing to consider about this flood. What caused the flood? It seems if giants and titans were involved in this, then they were clearly slain afterwards, and it could be those wanting to see that caused this flood event. Imagine a tall giant or a titan falling into the sea. It's going to cause a tidal wave somewhere. It could have just been a scenario like that set all this in motion. And historically, humans are involved in finishing off giants. Now, your dinosaur bones, what they say the dinosaur bones are probably giant bones. Did you notice that the Smithsonian's been removing all the giants from museums and obviously hiding them and storing them somewhere? So they're trying to hide our past, our history. If you hide the history, you can tell lies about anything. It's the same with the map and the grid we're using. The globe was clearly invented to hide the 12 gates from Scripture, is what our research is finding. And if you want to put that to the test, full exploration, go east, go to the sunrise and see where it's coming from. If it's coming around the globe, you'll notice. If it's getting projected through the ground, it's got to rise up from the ground somewhere, and it will get noticed.
Hmm.
That's how you hide the 12 gates from scripture. You invent a globe, which we know doesn't work.
Yeah. Yep. On the globe, we are just the center of that grid. You know, we see very, very little. There's a whole lot of miles missing.
Look at that, we've done. A rectangle mile wide glacier found by NASA completely flat. Yeah, it sounds like helicopters and lasers have been busy, doesn't it? I would say they are fake, the Dead Sea Scrolls, Jason. I think other people's debunked them previously. Yeah, I would say they're fake because they're trying to say Israel is the Israel country. If you look at this research, it's telling you Israel is the name of the realm, not a country. It's the name of this whole realm. Now, read the scripture again and take that into account, and it's going to give you a completely different story. You hide the real Israel and invent a fake one, a country called Israel. That's not the Israel from scripture. Watch our 12 Gates video and you'll see why. There he has.
Yeah.
It shows you the list of subjects we've looked at to get to our conclusions as well. We've looked at scriptures, Book of Enoch, Geopetro and hieroglyphs, Nazca lines. What else we got on?
All of
List
our
of stuff
real
that we did.
world data also.
Real world
Events.
data, yeah.
We've studied earthquakes and volcanoes and when they erupt and how, and planets and alignments of planets and Earth energy, ley lines. How do the planet alignments
Seas,
affect that stuff?
tides, winds, lightning.
Yeah,
A big list, isn't it?
yeah. On top
And
of
probably some stuff we forgot as well. Oh, halos.
halos, yeah, I was about to
Halos.
say, looking at the sky, capturing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, Mel's got it right. The elite are attacking written history in a last-ditch attempt to continue the lie. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
read them
I
more.
agree. Well said, Mel, because that's how it is.
Yeah, how could we forget halos?
I know.
But keep them coming, guys.
Hello, du jour, welcome.
Hey, the Jory.
Talking about halos today.
Ah, that's not a giant then, Tommy. That's a dwarf. That is 15 foot. That's nothing. That one can't have been involved in building anything. Maybe he carried a few bits of wood here and there. He's not one of the original builders. The original builders, you're talking megalithic kind of size.
I think we had different size ones. I think there were the original very large ones, and I think that as they diluted, however that happened, they probably got smaller.
With those dodgy
The
ones that
small,
came from the west.
the
Jimbo
smaller
scared
ones.
us with.
Yeah, yeah. And Jimbo says there's different kinds from different directions. And don't forget about the little people. There was little people found, bones found in America, little tiny people bones.
Yeah, all shapes and sizes it seems,
I would
including
basically,
dragon, including
I,
dragon,
yeah, dragons. I mean, I would
dragon.
really say all the old stories are probably true at this point. What they call legends and tales, and I would have to say that there might be a little bit of weight to those stories. The bones being found of giants and little people and animals that be dragons in the land. And
But yeah, any questions on Halos, guys, just put them in the chat there and we'll try and answer them today. If not, it'll be in another video.
Yeah. The stories came down from ancestors. So, do you have anything else to add?
Nah, that's it for me, one really. I'm gonna have to get some stuff done here now anyway.
Okay. Nobody has any questions? I think we're going to wrap it up for today. So, I want to thank everybody for coming in, and it was a fun chat.
Yeah, thanks all, and hope we explained them a bit more to you that weren't sure what they were.
FPV, how high does the plane go?
I think you would have to ask Series that. Going on Series is magnetic data. We'll ask him next time we catch up with him.
No worries. We'll have another one again in a day or two. We'll
Yeah, I
talk
think
about
it's I think it's one of the Series because he's probably got the best data to answer that question.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Yeah, cheers everyone. We'll catch you again. See you in a bit.